Kaboom reviews Toy Story 4.
There's a snake in my podcast.
Yes, we Canada.
Here we go, Toy Story 4.
Mission's over, return to the beginning. I'm Buzz Lightyear.
Hey team, Angus Strachan here, and welcome to the Film Size Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wiggly Kane Dogs.
Thank you.
And the man formerly known as Bro Diddly Doo Broadman Richards. This week known as...
Can I be Kook da Boom?
Yes.
Follow Brody on his new Instagram account, Kookdaboom.
At Kook da Boom.
Well, I can't even say that. Cooked Kaboom.
Kooked Kaboom.
Kook da Boom.
Cooked Kaboom.
It's not Kooked da Boom, it's just Kook da Boom.
Oh, Cooked Boom. Okay.
Kaboom.
With, Cooked Boom. This week we are reviewing Toy Story 4.
The fourth one.
The fourth toy in the story.
IMDb Summer and Beyond!
Woody's Roundup. Go Dogs.
And a new toy called Forky joins Woody in the gang. A road trip alongside old and new friends reveals how big the world can be for a toy. It all feels like a giant innuendo.
Why do we call Brody Spoonie?
Yeah, or Dorky.
Or Dorky?
Does it not seem like a
Knifey?
horrible innuendo?
Sporky. Skewery.
Forky and Woody is probably not a great...
Spatula.
Beatery?
I was just about to get there.
Honeycomby.
What's another word for a beater?
Whisk.
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Hey, I'll take whiskey. I'll be going whiskey.
Alright, we're here with Whiskey. Man, formerly known as Cooked da Boom, is now known as Whiskey.
Now recently
because
known as
I can
Whiskey.
say whiskey.
Angus can say whiskey, can't say the other one.
Angus says whiskey probably too much. We've been meaning to talk to you about that. Now's not the time.
It's-
Moving on.
It's fine. Let's move on to our next segment. When'd you see the movie and when did you bloody see it?
Yeah, the classic segment.
When did you see the movie and when did you bloody see it?
Yeah.
Also, what did you think though?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit. I saw the movie. I saw the movie Tuesday last week. So I saw it basically a week ago. We figured out what film we were doing, and I just left and went and saw it.
Really?
We
Yeah, over and done
did
with.
the last podcast in the cinema whilst Brody was watching Toy Story 4.
There was some stuff in it that I really liked, but at the end of the day, it was just another Disney movie, and so I was like, had an okay time.
Yeah. Fair. Cane Dogs.
Yeah, I
when did you
saw
see
it-
the movie and when did you bloody see it?
Well, I bloody saw it when it came out like 3 weeks ago, and then again last week to remember it.
So you liked it, seeing it twice?
You know what? I did like it. I didn't think it needed to be made, but because I feel like
Yeah.
it didn't have to be made. I think the third one was a perfect little ending. But because they made another one, I assumed it would be bad, and it wasn't. So I did enjoy it.
Cool.
I think it was a good story to be told.
I saw the movie Friday morning.
And what did you bloody?
Friday
I saw
morning!
Friday
What did
morning.
you bloody think?
And I didn't like it.
Ah,
Yeah, as opposed to... I think the general consensus of this film, which I've heard from a lot of people, is that this is actually one of the better ones, and I disagree. People have kind of ranked them... First one is the best, obviously, and then they actually say fourth is second best, then it goes three then two.
Yeah.
I disagree. I don't like this one at all.
What is your order?
Angus is completely opposite.
Angus,
2, 3, 4, 1.
Yeah,
I didn't even like the Pirates of the Caribbean films that much. But
Yeah,
Angus loved
mine
them.
would probably be 1, 3, 2, 4.
Okay.
I haven't seen 3. I want to make that clear. I haven't seen 3,
Fair
and I
enough.
think it made no difference in going to watch this movie.
Yes,
Yeah,
totally agree.
More or less, it hasn't. Yeah.
All right, moving on, lads. You know how every week, without fail, I put up on Instagram. Kane Dogs is on Facey. Broadman does the twits.
Yep.
On last week, what was it?
At Ashton Butcher.
Ashton Butcher. How's that going, by the way?
Pretty good. He got taken down, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah.
Very harsh racial comments. So this week...
Somewhat
I've-
after we
I've had
found
to-
out that it's not that original a joke and couldn't set up the Twitter account.
No, so this week we have a new Twitter account, which is at Kookdaboom. So go message me at that.
what can we
It is
expect
not
over there?
spelt how you think it, and I'm not going to tell you how it is spelt.
Okay.
Sweet, so I guess that's what we got on Twitter. So nothing
Oh, no.
G-rated?
No.
Okay,
People
cool.
did not want to interact with Ashton Butcher.
Fair enough.
And
Well,
rightfully so.
Yeah.
well, I put it on Instagram for our Slicey Slices to comment on, and normally no one replies. But this week, guess how many?
Guess how many? I have no idea.
Oh.
But I would like
Probably
to
however many
tease.
Brody did.
I would like to tease that next week, if things do go badly with Cook to Boom, then I'm gonna have to switch over to our alternate account, Cameron Shitaz.
Cameron Shitaz.
Thank you and good night. He's
here all week.
He's gone. Very good. All right, let's get into the comments. We've got from not.filmslice.host. He says, "I didn't see it,"
That's
which
funny.
was, I mean, good on him for commenting.
Yes, good on you, Brody.
Replying to that, we've got Hooverman91. He said, at not.filmslice.host, "You lazy bitch." Full stop. Very, very.
I'm worried about Brody's mental
confronting.
health.
Not.filmslice.host says, at Hooverman91, "Who you calling bitch, you little chunky brioche?"
I'm worried about Brody's mental health. It appears to be deteriorating on our Instagram account. Maybe don't have more than one Instagram account, Brody.
replying to that, Hooverman91 says, at not.filmslice.host, "I'm calling you a tiny, cold-blooded, cheese-smelling, goblin-looking, toenail-eating punk ... bitch."
Harsh words to say to yourself.
Not.filmslice.host replies at Hooverman91.
Yep.
Crying emoji. Finally, we've got from IOHO_podcast,
In
which
our
is
honest
in our
opinion.
honest opinion podcast. They say,
Or Ohio.
oh,
Eoho.
no, it's
Eoho.
Eoho.
Eoho. The Eoho podcast.
The Eoho podcast. They say, although parts of it were funny, this film was still unnecessary. Retelling the theme of the third one in a slightly different way. Learn to let go so you can move on. Extremely grateful that Pixar is doing more original films moving forward. Which I totally agree
nothing
with.
but original films coming from Disney. Nothing but original films. Look
No, they
forward to the
say
Lion
they
King.
do specify Pixar.
Nothing but original Pixar films.
Yeah, Lion King isn't Pixar though.
So this was a Pixar film, right?
Yes, correct.
There wasn't
This
a
the
little short at the
first-
beginning, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's
This was, I'm pretty sure Toy Story was the first full feature Pixar film. I have a
Oh,
feeling.
that's cool.
Yeah,
I
which is-
believe that is also true.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. But yeah, totally agree. Your podcast. Definitely go suss them out. Let them know if we're any good. K-Dogs, anyone hit you up on Facey? Anyone hit your face?
So there's two ways to look at this. You can either say that nobody saw this movie and that is why we had no one write in, or you can say that I put it up 2 hours ago because I forgot, and therefore there hasn't been enough time for people to write in.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
Look,
Can I-
Jordan,
could be either.
I came up with 2 Twitter accounts, and you couldn't even make a single post.
You didn't
on
want to make
Facebook.
another. You didn't want to comment. Didn't want to make 4 Facebook comments and.
Facebook's dead.
Can I
I'm only
just-
on Instagram.
All right, let's move on. Would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to?
Do we have a song with this?
Nah.
I can't remember.
K-Nugs, who would you recommend it to?
Parents taking their kids, I guess.
Yeah.
Not to the kids, just the parents taking the kids.
Well, the thing is I'm not even sure if that's true because I had first day back at work today out of school and all the kids saw A Pet's Life. And I was like, did anyone see Toy Story 4? Because I was like, I saw it twice. I'm going to be that cool guy that can talk to the kids about the films. None of them are like, what? They're all like, what's Toy Story?
No, we went to see John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. I
I
missed
saw
the
Toy
boat.
Story.
I had a 2-hour window to go and see the movie and I just wasn't quick enough. Probably no one. I mean, I enjoyed it and there are things to enjoy about it, but even if you've got nostalgia towards these films, this one isn't necessarily going to be worth seeing for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. This movie leans heavily on nostalgia. I'll get into it more in the spoilers because I have like a big nitpick about it. But the problem is it's aimed at kids, but no kids
Are gonna
still
understand
kids
any of what's-
from
yeah.
the first Toy Story
Yeah.
whenever it came out. When did it come out? Like, 50 years ago probably.
Yeah, yonks ago.
Yeah.
1995.
95.
Jeez,
Yeah, wowza.
that was yonks
so we
ago.
were 1 year old.
1 year old
Well,
when
it
it came
depends
out.
on the time of the year.
That's true.
We weren't
Yeah.
even one.
Ugh.
I was.
Yeah, you old.
Geezer.
Thanks, Angus. Thanks for censoring that.
Got you.
I'm trying hard.
Yeah.
So, to all my Twitter
but,
followers.
But like my point is, if you've got nostalgia from seeing it when you were a kid in 1994,
You're definitely at least 20
you-
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah, fair
it's
enough.
it's kind of missed the ticket.
I would recommend this to any parent that has a kid for a very, very particular reason that I'll get into later in the lovely spoiler section of the podcast. Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we are in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. I went from New Zealand to Australia. Now we're back. Hey! It's your boy, The Rock.
Anyone got a dick from the cinema?
I honestly can't remember. It's been at least a week since I saw this, and I saw it twice, and I can't remember both times.
My cinema was rather pleasant. No, I lie. I don't have a cinema dick. I have a dick cinema. There was a hole in the screen.
That's a problem.
This is just annoying, really. Just like
someone say the one thing a cinema needs is to have a screen.
Yeah, it's like it's the cinema equivalent of having a bug on your TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
you
annoying.
Can't not look at it.
Yeah. But like besides that, it was fine.
How big was the hole? Car-sized?
Like cinema screen
I could
size.
definitely see that having a big...
What I'd like to think
big
is
impact
Angus
on your
is
viewing experience.
Angus is like, it's cinema screen size, and then it cuts, and it's just him staring at a wall.
The funny thing is, it was probably...
And just not facing the cinema.
They've just turned my seat around.
Like, I couldn't find this, there was a hole in it. It's like,
The funny thing is that it's probably just a scratch, but because Angus described it as a hole, I was just imagining he could just see through the wall to like the people walking around on the other side. It's just like the people are just walking on the street.
One of
It's
those cutouts that you can put your face into.
Yeah.
Angus is just looking at one of those. He's like, there's a hole in this screen. Also, nothing's happened for 2 hours.
Yeah, that was my cinema dick.
Yeah,
cinema.
fair enough. That's a good.
Anyone else?
Good dick.
I honestly can't
remember.
It's been 6 days since I saw it the second time.
Well, I guess
so I
that's-
can't remember.
I think some people took some photos. The usual annoying shit.
It's amazing that when a certain amount of
Classic.
time passes, my brain just erases whatever I did at a cinema, because I go to the cinema so often now that I can't distinguish it unless it was like a recent recollection.
Fair enough. All right, let's get into it. Most positive thing about the film.
I'll go first.
All right.
I want to do something a little bit different today. We all know I have a little segment called Let's Have a Rant.
Yep, my favourite segment.
Yeah.
Personal
So
favourite.
I would like to use my rant powers for good. For this
Brody's
episode.
rant.
Wait, what's it
renting
called?
all day, renting all night, and renting in bed.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Brod, what's this called? Because
This
it's not
rant
technically a rant, so it's
is
like
called-
what's a positive rant? Like a...
Prance?
No.
Prance.
No.
I can have a bit of a prance.
Okay, bro.
Brody's prance.
Brody's
Prancing all day.
prance.
Take it off his pants. Alright, go for it.
Okay. So this is what I was referring to when I said I recommend it to all parents and kids.
So sorry, what was it called again?
Joy for Equality.
Joy for Equality.
It's very happy. This is very unusual for me.
Clearly sarcastic coming from Brody.
It is not sarcasm.
Very left wing.
I believe that this is one of the best films to improve equality. Each human character, if they could be female, they were. But not with some huge sign drawing attention to it or simultaneously bringing down men. They were women because most people are. Teachers, mothers, police officers, people driving around and at work. Instead of Andy, it's Bonnie. Bo is a more prominent character living her own life, accompanied by a friend who is a woman and a police officer. The main villain is a female character, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. It does all of this without cutting down men like most other films that are pro-equality usually do. They have some sort of conversation between men and women where someone's trying to be superior to the other, and it's always just makes kind of both sides or either
Somewhat
side feel
uncomfortable or look
a bit
shitty.
uncomfortable, a bit down. And so it just shows real people. And I think this is an excellent film to present to children because of this alone, even if you take out everything else. They are improving the relationship of females and males, and from here on, they do need to improve their LGBTQI+. But I thought that this was great. And especially a moment in the film where a little girl goes and finds a police officer, and it is a female police officer, and that female police officer goes and finds another police officer, and that second police officer is also a female police officer. And I thought
And that
was
female police officer goes to find another police.
I thought that was great. I noticed it the entire time I was watching this film. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think I've seen a man this like the entire film.
Yeah.
The like one exception is when the guy,
The dad.
There's like there's like the dad, and then there's also the guy that buys Bo Peep at like the very beginning, and he's like a shady character with like a hoodie, and it's like raining. But like other than that, every single character was a woman,
So
and I
the guy
thought
running the toy store.
the toy store.
The
carnival dude.
The carnival dude.
Oh yeah, but even him, he was just kind of like a whatever
Sorry,
kind of
being
like
a
shady
devil's
guy.
advocate.
It was great. I thought it was great. I thought that any other film, so many of those characters would have been men, especially the police officers. I was like, in any other film, this police officer would have been like a fat dude.
Totally.
And because I would have just played on stereotypes, and I was like, this is great.
You would have been like gorging on donuts.
Such a great moment that this is a female police officer. And she goes and finds a second female police officer to help a kid, and I thought that was amazing.
But I agree with it that it's noticeably unnoticeable, right? Like, they don't draw attention to it.
They don't have a
all.
big sign that
Unless
says like, us women need to stick together, or like, don't you just hate men sometimes?
Yeah,
there was
exactly.
none of that talk. It was just these are women in all different kind of parts of life. They're like all like there's like mothers and teachers and police officers.
It's more like, here's a character as opposed to here's a gender kind of thing.
And I was just like, this is great. This is what all films need to be doing.
Definitely.
And I loved that for it. I love this movie for that.
What a prance. What a prance, ladies and gentlemen.
I love
Brody's prance.
I love watching Brody's prance.
If you want to hear more prances by Brody, definitely let us know.
Head over to Twitter on Brody's prance at Brody's prance.
Cameron Shitaz?
Yeah, specifically on Cameron Shithouse.
Just jumping on the back of that, also with ethnicity as well.
Yeah.
A lot of those characters weren't just like white Caucasian.
Yeah.
Which was also great, including the parents of Bonnie, which is also just really cool.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
also, again, if you were to turn the clocks back a year, everyone is white.
Yeah.
Everyone in an animated film is white.
And again, like, noticeably unnoticeable.
Except for, say, Frozone. Like, it's like an incredible stereotype.
Where's
Everyone
my
else is white.
super suit?
Yeah. So, that was also really good.
Yeah, agree. Totally agree. Kane Dogs, your most positive thing about the film?
I think my most positive thing about the film was, after Toy Story 3, I had assumed there were no stories that could really be told in this movie. Because they'd tied a really neat bow around it all. And I've always sort of seen the Toy Story films more or less as kind of like a mirror to what parenthood is like. Not as a parent myself, obviously, but I think it's still a matter of, like, you know, adults or people learning how to raise a kid and look after a kid, and what letting go means, and letting them have their space and all of that sort of stuff. That's really neatly woven into Toy Story. From the perspective of a toy.
Yeah.
So it's like Woody feels like, you know, Woody's more or less a father figure, and it's him sort of, you know, how to look after Andy and how to help Andy go to school and all of that sort of stuff. And in this, and so when they tied that off and Andy like goes to high school, I was like, okay, cool. That whole thing is sort of tied off. It's Andy's story, and this is about Andy growing up. And I thought, I don't know what they're going to do with Bonnie that's going to make me care, because it's just Woody doing that same thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want another movie of just Woody trying to look after Bonnie. And so when it first started, I thought, I've seen this 3 times. But what it actually sort of turned out to be, and again, this is from that perspective that I'm looking at it, from being like a mirror to parenthood, is it was more about Woody accepting that his child has grown up and left. So it's kind of like, what do you do as a parent after your child doesn't need you anymore?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you've got to find yourself and go and have a life again, and, like, you know, do the things that you were interested in prior to that. And from that perspective, I think this film did a really good job of telling a unique story that I didn't know I wanted to see. But they did a really good job of it.
Yeah, cool.
So that's my main positive.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I like that. Man, this podcast's getting deep. As soon as we get to mine, though, I had to write mine down because
Like, I liked the fart jokes.
I saw it too long ago. Under good, I've got dust and cobwebs, which, but having
My 2 favorite characters from this film.
no, but
Dusty and Cobweb.
what I mean by that is the animation has stepped up dramatically, and
that's
in the
awesome.
very small things, like especially in the antique store, there's dust on everything, and it's such a small textual thing. Textural thing. But just seeing it there makes the whole world just seem so much more real. And so there were the dust on all the antiques, which was insane, and you could see it, like the little flecks of light, dust reflecting in the light. It was amazing. And the cobwebs just seem so real as well. Seems like a really small thing, but like that didn't happen in the first Toy Story. So it's awesome to see throughout the series of Toy Story how insane animation has got, even by changing the little
It's
things.
been over
even
20 years, but it's been 25 years, I guess.
And like, even though the characters are the same, it kind of that's a testament to how well the characters were created in the first place. But you can still create this amazing looking animation in today's era.
Because we're saying, in a world where everything can be animated, and we've seen 100 animated films now, this one still stood out as being impressive.
Yeah, it's still like
even though we've
impressive
seen
in today's-
animation a lot now, this one still makes you go,
Yeah.
whoa.
It's still like, because like Pixar is like
That
still like
cat.
cutting edge CGI stuff, like they've always tried to be in front of the game. So that, and also I really like that Randy Newman's back. Do you guys know who Randy Newman is?
In Cars. Is that Randy Newman?
Huh?
In Cars.
In Cars?
In Cars.
He was incarcerated, yes.
Wait.
No, who's
No.
Randy
Am
Newman?
I thinking of the complete wrong person?
Maybe. Randy Newman is the guy that sings all of the songs in Toy Story 1.
Ah, okay,
So he
sure.
he did the album for Toy Story 1, and very recognizable voice, and he has another song in Toy Story 4. And I thought that was awesome that they kept the same artist.
Yeah,
from
Randy Newman
Toy Story
Cars.
1.
Oh, no, that's Gary Newman.
He was also incarcerated.
Come on. They sounded similar.
All right, let's.
Cars. Do-do. 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 Do-do.
Still not sure what you.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. But there's one person listening to this I know. And this joke's for you.
I know this song. Yeah.
Oh, this guy.
Oh, that's not what you were singing
That's
at all.
not what you were doing.
Sweet. All right, let's get into some nitpicky stuff. Who wants to nitpick first?
Duke Kaboom! Is the bear guy and the story of this character not exactly the same as the third one? Isn't it just that they go to a new place and then there's someone that kind of owns that place and it's not what it seems, and then they have to try to escape, but then they've got to rescue someone?
Pretty much.
Isn't that the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just describe the first film?
I described all four of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
all of them. All of them is they
that's-
go to a place that isn't what it seems, and then there's a bad guy there, and then they can't escape, and then whichever member of the gang didn't jump out a window has to go save them. And that's literally all of them.
Which is never Woody because he always jumps out windows, apparently. Totally agree. Whiskey.
My negative for this film is so at the end, Woody kind of agrees to go with Bo, and they're at the top of the carousel, and I couldn't help but feel real sad, even though they're it's like meant to be a happy ending, but I was just like, oh man, even though this film, like none of the Toy Stories have a big like impact on me or my life or whatever, I was still just like thinking like, oh, so like if I was watching this film when I was a kid, that would make me so sad.
So sad, yeah.
Because
had a very melancholy tone.
because like Toy Story 1, like all of these like toys running around, they're all friends or whatever, and Toy Story 4, Woody leaves, and I was just like, oh man, that's such a weird thing to wrap my head around. Like I was just kind of like just trying to think of like the child I once was and like how I would feel about that, and I was like, that would make me really sad. And then so in that moment where I was like, Woody's like not with him anymore, I was just like, man, this is cutting me up. This is like such a sad, like he's never gonna see any of his friends again. And I was just like,
they'll make a fifth one and he'll just be back. I don't know.
Such a weird, weird experience. I was like, I don't know if I like that ending. And so, so now I'm just in this weird place where I was like, I don't know if I like that ending.
Okay, so this cuts into my biggest negative. It's to do with that scene, but also to do with the whole movie. Like, I felt that emotional pull when I was younger with Toy Story 3. And Toy Story 3, I distinctly remember bawling my eyes out.
We were 18.
The emotional gravity. They don't need to know that. But, like, I remember that. And I remember the emotional gravity of Toy Story 3 where, like, Woody had to say goodbye to Andy. And there's this bit in the incinerator where they all hold hands. And you're, like, full on expecting them to just die.
Except there's this moment where Buzz gives Jessie a nod. And I'm like, I don't think you guys have ever interacted before.
Yeah. But
it's weird Jordan can remember that from memory.
I'm probably wrong. So there's probably someone being like, no, the part where they have
Jordan,
that interaction's my favorite
that's
thing.
not Toy Story 3, that's Reservoir Dogs.
But the problem that I have with this film is they try and hit the same emotional beats, but they don't do it as well as I remember it happening in the third one. And the other thing that they do is they they have those emotional beats with characters that aren't really prevalent in this film in particular. Like, there's this big pause where Woody hugs Jessie, and we've seen Jessie for maybe 5 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't really do anything. She doesn't have any character development at all.
She gets given a sheriff badge. That's like, character development, right?
If
that's costume development, Jordan.
If you're taking your kid in to see Toy Story for the first time and you start with Toy Story 4, that little kid's going to be like, Who's that? Is Jessie Woody's girlfriend? In which case...
Who's this
Dick
garbage?
Move, Woody?
Yeah.
What the hell?
The phrase "Dick Move, Woody" is excellent.
But like, you know what I mean? Like they tried to lean on and make these emotional hits that they did so well in Toy Story 3, but Toy Story 4 in of itself, there just wasn't enough development to have that emotional hit. So it was kind of dry when they were saying goodbye and everything. I'm like, I can't remember a lot of these characters and their characteristics and everything. Like, they're all just kind of in there for that nostalgia hit, and then they kind of move on to new characters and new story development for Woody and stuff. Like, even Buzz Lightyear, he doesn't...
Yeah, he's
probably
not
more
prominent
dumb
in
this one than anything. He's just
incredibly dumb
comic
for no
relief.
reason. Yeah.
And it's not how I remember Buzz. Like, I remember him being like that stubbornly
he's a
confident... Like stubbornly confident, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just wasn't in this film. So that was my biggest negative.
I think the introduction of new characters in this did really well. I expected to hate Forky, for example. Whenever there's a film that you have nostalgia towards characters and they try to introduce a new character and make that character a centerpiece.
A suicidal toy.
A centerpiece, though. You always feel like something's infringing on that sentiment that you have. Like, the minute they're like, hey, here's other toys that you love. But also, here's a new main character in the 4th film. And he's love him. I'm always like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked Forky. I expected to hate it because I thought that was going to go for, like, you know, he's got big eyes and he's cute, which they do in every film. And in this one, they kind of gave him sort of a bit more fierceness. I don't know how to say it. Like, there was a bit more of an aggression to him, which I actually really liked.
Yeah. A bit sharper.
It also did make me really wonder about, like, it makes me contemplate the rules in this movie, though, because does that mean anything that you play with just becomes sentient after that point?
Yeah.
Like,
Jordan, don't be gross.
At what point just become, like, at what point is just picking up, like, you know, literally anything and going, meow, is it now just a toy plane? And now it's alive? Like,
what? No, yeah, that's very true.
That confused me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. Like, when I remember very vividly watching, like, the first Toy Story film, and that had a big emotional effect on me. So I was always real careful with my toys. Like, it was just like, I was really careful.
I was too.
And
I was real careful.
And being friends with Jordan, I would make sure, like,
I was the Sid.
I was getting to it, but yes, you are the Sid.
Yeah.
Because
not because I shot close to rockets.
You just disembody them.
Well, I used to get toys, and I used to be like, why don't these look like they do in the movie? And so I'd be like, no, if I take the head from that and I'd repaint them. So I used to, like, customize my own stuff. But yeah, if you look at it from a Toy Story point of view, I've murdered a lot of things.
So you and Brody, like, this is when we were kids. You and Brody used to trade toys a lot. Yeah. And I remember in my mind always being like, I'm not trading with Jordan, not because I don't want him to have this toy, because I don't want him to destroy this toy. And this is my toy. And I still destroyed my responsibility.
All of Angus's toys.
And it wasn't until I got older and was like, there's no such thing as, you know, like real life toys.
And then I cut them all up.
And then I gave like 2 tubs of toys to Jordan.
He cut them all up. And part of Angus died inside. And he's like,
immediately.
What if I was wrong?
Yeah. Like, immediately. I came over the next day and he's like, yeah, so this is what I made.
I have no sympathy for that.
That's it.
And then I remember another time I related to Angus's stories. I'll never forget the day Angus got, like, a remote control helicopter, and I came over the day he got it. And I wanted to turn, and Angus was apprehensive, but he gave me a turn, and we were, like, in his kitchen, and I immediately flew it into a fridge and broke it.
Like, fridge.
Like, Angus had like one turn of it, and then I grabbed it straight into a fridge, broken forever.
Oh man,
that kind of happens with a lot of things.
Remote control stuff breaks the day you get it.
Yeah,
I remember.
Not even remote control. I got a soccer ball for my birthday. We went out and kicked it. Jordan hit it with a stick and it popped.
Oh, we won't even bring up Angus's first girlfriend. I don't know what I did there, but
That's great.
Anyway.
flew into a fridge.
Sweet. Well, we digress. Anyway, that is it for Toy Story 4. Next week, we are reviewing Lion King. 1 again.
I really don't want
That's
to do the Lion King.
That's the working title.
You know what?
Lion
Are
King
you
1
getting
again.
sick of these Disney films?
Hell yeah.
I can tell you everything about the Lion King now, and I
Preach
haven't
it,
seen
sister.
it. I can tell you everything I like about that movie and everything I don't right now, and
Because-
I promise I'll agree with myself by the time I've seen it.
Because it's going to be the exact same as
Because
the
I
original Lion
already
King.
know every emotional beat it's going to hit, and I know it's not going to hit him as hard as I remember them hitting when I was younger, because I know they're coming. And the animation will be fine, but also it'll be exactly the same as everything else by next year.
Really hope Aladdin's in it.
You can't tell what Brody's doing, the childish
Disney-
swinging of the arms, and it's
Disney
great.
Cinematic Universe. The
Nick
DC.
Fury's going to come in at the end and be like, I'm putting a team together, and it'll be mauled by a lion.
All right, sweet. So next week is Lion King. I guess we'll see you then. All right.
Look forward to
Bye.
that.
In the next week at our podcast,
Thank you for listening to the Film Size Podcast. You can catch us next week after we review The Lion King. If you haven't seen it, you can still let us know what you think, because you've probably seen the first one and therefore know what happens in it. Anyway, we'll see you then. Thank you, everybody.
We'll review Lion King next week.